Enough of that nonsense. We're just here to have fun. Folks, thanks for joining me today. This is another long-form interview. You see our guest, Mr. Trader Mayne. Here's a picture of that handsome gentleman. This is, of course, a real picture of him. But this is going to be part of the long-form interview series. You see here the previous interviews. I just did one recently with Chartman Dan. I've actually had one with Trader Mayne 3 years ago. So he's the first return guest for the long-form interview series on my YouTube at Cheds Trading. You can just quickly remind you I'm on Twitter at Big Cheds. I'm also a founding analyst at Bitcoin Live. While you're here, check out my Trading Encyclopedia playlist. These are basically 3-minute videos designed to teach you, professional TA concepts. Check that out when you want, if you want. But we're here for Mayne. Here's his Twitter, Trader Mayne. He's on YouTube. Very prolific content creator, educator. He's been trading a long time. He's actually been in crypto longer than me. So he's a great resource, somebody to pay attention to. He is one of the founders at Breakout prop firm. He's part of the Haven with a bunch of other really high quality analysts. I know all these people. They're all excellent. And here's like a bunch of his links. He's also on Instagram. He's on TikTok. He's on this and this and that. He's on everything. So let's get right into the interview with Trader Mayne and let's have some fun. All right, here we are, the long-awaited. What's up, Mayne? How you doing, man? It's great to have you.
I'm good, bro. Doing a little better than the Bitcoin chart, but what can we say, man? These are the ebbs and flows of the markets, right? We've been here before.
We've been here before. You're actually the first return guest for the long-form interview series. We talked 3 years ago. I actually watched our interview again from yesterday. I took a couple notes, and so I could mentally have an idea. I'm really curious, you now looking back, because back then you were looking back on getting started in the market in 2013 to 2015 when you were gambling. You said it wasn't really trading, you were gambling, and you talked about your progression, starting your group, your Discord, and all that stuff. So I'm curious now to look back on that and kind of see how far you've come, man. So this will be fun.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. I mean, it's crazy. It's been 3 years since we spoke. It doesn't feel like that long.
It doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like last year, kind of thing.
Yeah, man. Time is a flat circle.
So if people have never heard of you, what's your deal? Who are you? Why are we talking? Why should people care?
I'm Trader Mayne. As of very recently, I guess I've been a pretty good counter indicator. So got to follow me for those inverse trading tips. But yeah, I mean, I've been in the crypto space for a very long time. Like you mentioned, I've been through multiple of these cycles already. So, much as it's painful to see price go down, I mean, this is quite literally nothing in hindsight. But yeah, I've been in the space for a long time. I think I kind of cut my teeth and built my brand around education. I've posted over 1,000 videos on YouTube at this point over the last 7 or 8 years. Just teaching people how to fish, really, right? The goal is to kind of demystify some of the trading things that you see online. A lot of people, I think, like to do a little bit of gatekeeping. They like to make things seem a little more complicated than it actually is. So demystify some of that to people, explain things in a simple way, with the ultimate goal being helping people get to a point where they can become self-directed with their decisions. I think one of the biggest problems with crypto is how closely and inextricably linked it is to social media. And so naturally, a lot of people, especially when you're new, that's where you're going for your information. And that signal to noise ratio is not good. So just having even a baseline cursory understanding of markets, technical analysis, it can help you, refine what you're seeing online, who you want to follow, what you're going to be doing, because at the end of the day, it's your money that you're risking. So that's always been something that I've been really proud of, helping people over the years, get to a point where they're making money on their own, and it's not due to, anything but their own, educated decisions.
You've probably seen people who started in your Discord back in the day, who now have big accounts, who now you know what I mean, have other people following them. So you're the grandfather, right, of that kind of thing.
My DMs are crazy. If I ever went postal one day, I would just leak some crazy Epstein file level crypto Twitter DMs from people you would not believe were asking me, what's an order block, in the DMs many, many years ago. But everyone's got to start somewhere, because guess what? I was that guy, before them, asking other people. And it takes people like me, like yourself as well, It's kind of like the OG system of passing on knowledge before there was written text and books, right? Like you need the elders. We're old now, bro.
Yeah,
But I can't see your face under that mask. But I assume you might even have a gray hair or two,
a few.
just like me. I mean, of what's left up there. Yeah, you got to have these people who are willing to share, right, and willing to
Yeah.
pass this info down. And then I don't take credit for anyone's success if I'm part of the journey.
Hmm.
That makes me very happy. And then seeing people grow and build their own brands and businesses and communities, it's incredible.
So, I had a couple things I wanted to ask, but so like another gray beard is Cred, Crypto Cred.
Yes.
So how did you two get like linked up? Because the first I noticed it was like several years ago. You guys are doing spaces, and I was like, man, like there's some crazy flow to this spaces and their conversation. And so how did you get hooked up with him? And then now you guys just like, and by the way, congratulations on your
Thank you.
recent success. I don't know if you folks have heard about it, but Maine here did a thing. He did a thing, and he did it with cred, which is impressive. So good job.
Thank you. Yeah. Funnily enough, Cred was one of those guys who DM'd me early on in 2016, 17, because I was posting like TA on the Bitcoin chart and altcoins.
Yeah,
And back then he was, building these amazing kind of free education
yeah,
courses on different indicators and strategies. And him and I just started chatting about price action. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like this stuff works on crypto. And we just kind of became, internet friends from there. And we ended up meeting at an event like 8 years ago at some Bitcoin conference. And kind of the rest is history. We've always, gone back and forth, always good banter. Cred's hilarious, obviously.
yeah.
And I've always viewed him as one of the smartest people I know. Even if you go look at his courses, these are years old, like they're dusty and old, but like these are university level courses on trading, risk management, TA, with presentations. They're hours long and there's dozens of them. It's really, really quality stuff. And so when we started Breakout, which is the company that we launched, it's an evaluation based prop firm. Um, I knew I needed to build like a kick ass team because my experience being in crypto for so long and investing in God knows how many projects that are just complete duds, the team is really important. And then the product's got to be good. And I think that's what we were able to accomplish. I knew I had a good idea. I knew I could market it, right? I knew
Hmm.
I had a big brand. I could be that distribution channel. I knew I needed some really smart people behind me to help build this thing. And Cred was one of those people I reached out to. And I was like, hey, bro, I got this
Hmm.
idea. He's like, sounds like a scam. I was like, it's not a scam. I
Uh,
promise you.
yeah,
And he's like, you know what? I'm bored. Like, let's fucking do it. And I don't think we thought it was going to grow and proliferate as quickly as it did. I mean, we went 0 to 19 months from starting to acquisition,
that's
which
crazy.
is like unheard of. I mean, I have seed checks I wrote 2.5 years ago. They haven't even launched yet. And it's like, so to go from zero to being bought by Kraken, which in my opinion is the most reputable OG Bitcoin native exchange on the planet, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So they're doing IPO too, right? They're doing their whole thing. So your acquisition is probably part of that, and you probably you don't have to get into it too much if you don't want to. But
Yeah. So I mean, I think they just announced literally a few days ago that they're filing for IPO, which is super exciting. Something
Mhm.
that's super common when you see a company going into IPO
Yeah,
is a bunch of acquisitions. Obviously, you see Coinbase doing a bunch of acquisitions. They just bought Echo Vector Fund today. There's a bit of an arms race, I could say. You could probably
yeah,
say going on between Kraken and Coinbase. They're two very much, competitors in the same arena, which is in America specifically
yeah,
for crypto. But I think one of the things that Kraken saw in us, like when I launched this business, I wrote in my journal. I was like, I'm going to sell this business to a centralized exchange because to
mm,
me,
mm,
we are the perfect funnel for a centralized exchange in a variety of different ways. We are an in between step for paper trading and trading a personal account. Like, as you know, early on, you might not actually be even trading, which is okay, right? Like you're just charting. Okay, I would have longed here.
Yeah.
That works for a
It's
while, but
healthy.
then
It's
you're like,
healthy, right?
yeah, but then you want to get a little skin in the game. And so
Yeah.
usually the next step is you take your paycheck or however much money you have, you put in an account, you get liquidated. And then you're
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Whoops.
And so with Breakout, we're like an in-between step where the amount of you can't get liquidated. Whatever you pay for the evaluation, like let's say you buy our $5,000 account, it's like $50. Um, and you can now open a 25,000 because you get leverage dollar Bitcoin position. If you blow up, you breach the rules, you're only out $50. You don't lose
Hmm.
that entire 5 grand. You're not on the hook for those losses.
Hmm.
But if you make money on that $5,000 account, let's say you make 10%, you can withdraw up to 90% of that $500 of profit. So it's skin in the game, but the downside is fixed. You know what it is,
Hmm.
but there is upside. And so it's a really nice kind of in between step. And what we're seeing now that we've been around for 2 years
Yeah.
is we're seeing a lot of our top guys now taking their payouts and they're putting them on Kraken, Bybit, Coinbase,
Yeah.
Hyperliquid, and they're just trading their personal account that has none of the guardrails that we have. So
Hmm.
that's the major, I think, one of the biggest reasons why we're beneficial to an exchange. The second reason is because basically every breakout trader is a future perps trader on your exchange. The second reason is we actually a-book traders. So our funded book, right, we generate real trading volume. So
Yeah.
for an exchange, what do any exchange want? They want taker volume. Our
Yeah.
book is 100% takers. We have people who are actually trading
Yeah.
real money in the real market, and that's obviously valuable to an exchange as well. So I think
Hmm.
Kraken saw the vision. We're like a top of funnel, get them in the door into the Kraken ecosystem, and now boom, they can do perps, they can do yield farming, spot, on ramp, off ramp, all the other stuff.
Interesting. Now, and I want to spend the whole time talking about this, but I'm curious. There's criticisms, right, of these like prop firms, right? I mean, you're aware of it, right? Do you want to talk
Oh
me
yeah.
through that? What are some of the criticisms? Why do they not apply to you guys?
So this is not like I invented a new product here. This
Hmm.
is basically something that already has existed for a very long time. First of all, prop firms have been around for decades, but they were in person, right? You would go to New York, to London, to Toronto, and you'd work at a prop desk. You would have a risk manager, and your skill is what you bring to the table. And in return, the firm gives you capital, and they, give you tools to trade at. That business model moved online, and then it evolved to what is I would call evaluation-based prop firms. And that's the world we're in. About 10 years ago, a company called FTMO launched, and they are the biggest prop firm on the planet right now.
Okay.
And they were for
Okay.
Forex. So same
Yeah.
business model as us, pretty much, but it was for FX.
Hmm.
Then a handful of years ago, we saw this proliferate with more FX firms, and very recently, a lot of futures firms, Top Step, things like this. These are big businesses. And so I saw this kind of proliferation of these prop firms about 3 years ago. And I'm like, hey, everyone's launching a prop firm now. Like, what is going on? Let me do some research. And I start looking around and I'm like, okay, no one has a crypto prop firm. Like, it doesn't exist yet. Clearly, the business model makes a lot of sense. Why is no one offering it for crypto? So that was kind of the impetus to start the company. But
Hmm.
what we wanted to make sure we did correctly was
Hmm.
avoid the pitfalls that some of these shadier firms fall into, because there are a lot of prop firms that are great, but there's a lot of prop firms that are spun up by an influencer who thinks they're going to make a quick bag and they blow up. So the biggest red flag for any prop firm is they don't pay their traders out.
Right.
And so you pay your money, you work your ass off to get into a profitable position, you go to withdraw your money and they deny it and they make up some bullshit reason, pardon my French, to not pay you.
Hmm.
And so from day one, I was like, guys, we can never deny a payout. We cannot do it. It's like the scarlet letter for a prop firm. If you deny payout, no one's ever going to trust you. You have a bad reputation. So
Yeah.
we made sure that when we set up the business, we set it up in a way that not only are we going to be able to pay out our traders, but we are going to operate in a way that is completely above board, transparent, and as trader friendly as possible. And what that meant is our prop firm challenges, the evals, were more expensive. Our rules were harder than the competition. And initially, we got a lot of pushback from people being like, well, why would I come trade at you? Your 100K accounts, like over $1,000. I can get one here for 500 bucks. And I said, go for it. Because when you spend there's nothing more expensive than cheap prop firm. Because yeah, it might only cost you 500 bucks, but that doesn't mean anything if you don't get your payout. So
Yeah.
there's absolutely a shady aspect to the industry, and it's usually around having very obfuscated rules. They don't make it fair, and really, it all boils down to not paying people out. Because if I can say, hey, yeah, I know you're in profit, Cheds, but you took a trade here that used up more than 33% of your margin, and that's not allowed, so I'm denying your payout. Really, they just don't want to pay people out. And so that's what we wanted to avoid, and we were able to do that. And as we grew, what a lot of these prop firms do is they run these crazy discounts. They're cheap. They have all these crazy easy rules. And then when people start making too much money, they got to pull the rope back in. We went the opposite way. We said, we're going to stay strict, more expensive, and over time, we're going to become more generous with more products, better payout terms, and all this other kind of stuff. And it allowed us to, make sure that we're 4.9 out of 5 on Trustpilot. We're very highly reviewed. We've never denied a payout. So we're very proud of having that reputation.
That's awesome, man. Reputation is everything. You know what I don't like about this space is like people don't mind ruining their reputation and make a new account. Like all those rug pulls, you see all the meme coins. Like our industry is so dirty, and good on you. And I'm trying to stay clean. I've never used them. I don't know much about them, so it's interesting for me to learn about that. So
we'll get you a discount code for your community, and you
woohoo!
guys can try it out. It's really fun, and I mean, within the next few months, we're going to be fully integrated with the Kraken terminal. So that's going to be
Nice.
awesome. So if you're already trading on Kraken, or you're comfortable trading with Bybit, Hyperliquid, whatever, like the Kraken Pro terminal is super modern. It's really good, and you'll be able to trade your Breakout account right from there, which is going to be super cool.
Hell yeah. So you talk about YouTube. What's going on with them? Like nuking your videos. What's the deal with that, bro?
Bro, the Matrix is attacking me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess the YouTube has come out with some new rules and trying to, strict up on gambling content, etc. But
Yeah.
I follow a few gambling streamers who post full videos of them just like playing slot machines and blackjack on YouTube.
Yeah.
And even in the crypto realm, I am about as milk toast as you can get. I never talk about meme coins. I've never launched a coin. I basically only chart Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Sol. I'm
Yeah.
super boring. I'm
Mhm.
teaching. I'm like the opposite. I'm not fucking hopium all the time,
No.
bull tard.
Mhm.
I'm like pretty level headed. I'm like, it could do this. It could do this. This is
Yeah.
what I'm doing. I
Mhm.
try and make it very clear I'm never giving financial advice. So I don't know if it's maybe just because I have like a ref link in my bio. So I cleaned up all my bios to make sure I have like a link tree instead of
Mm.
the actual link. Dude, they took down my trading view tutorial video.
What the f
So they have this new, policy against, I guess, crypto and gambling and stuff, but I've never been able to speak to a human. So
Yeah.
in terms of getting like an actual answer, like this is what you did wrong, like
Mhm.
it's very much an automated system, and it just seems like they're going very broad strokes, and
Do you think people reported you maybe? Like I saw someone saying that because you talk about like in our last interview and now probably even more so the case, a large account keeping everyone happy, right? Like so maybe there's
yeah.
some people didn't like one of your calls and they're just like, report. What are you gonna do?
Listen, I told everyone I was longing at the yearly open, and we went
Yeah.
$10,000 lower like immediately after. So
Yeah.
maybe.
Maybe.
Um, but their automated system said like this is not due to people reporting. Like that's
Oh,
what they
okay.
said. Who
Mhm.
knows? Um, Again, like it is what it is. I'm gonna keep pumping out the videos, and I don't
Good.
have any strikes or anything. So that's apparently good news from my YouTube friends who I've talked to who are big YouTubers.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's good. You're very active. I think people like streams, because they just want to know someone is in there with them. You talk about skin in the game, like we're all in this arena together. You pop on, hey guys, I'm gonna do a stream. You pop on. So people love the live streams. I think your activity is very good. And so, but I could see it would be discouraging. People remove your videos, but just keep at it, man. Keep that shit up.
yeah. I mean, bro, like this is I got pretty thick skin, bro.
Yeah. What
Over the years, you develop it.
hell you have to survive. I wanted to ask you about the sports gambling. You kind of mentioned it. Like you do a lot of that. So are you good at it? Like, what's the deal? Because I see a lot of ideas from you. This parlay, that
So
parlay.
when I do a well-researched gamble, I'm pretty good. Where I fuck the dog is
Hmm.
when I bet with my heart, which is
Mm, hmm.
unfortunately like so Blue Jays World Series.
Hmm.
Like I wanted the Jays to win. I thought our odds in game 7 were pretty low because I thought because we went up 3-2. I'm like, I
Hmm.
think we got to win it in game 6. I don't want to go to a game 7 against the best team in the league who won it last year with the best player in the league.
Yeah.
But I had to bet on the Jays because like I can't not, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I'd say
Yeah.
my sports betting career, it's a mixed bag. But
Yeah.
I'm definitely a bit of a, I don't sports bet because this is my career. I sports bet because it's more fun to watch the game when you
Hmm.
got a little bit of juice on it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I like doing that, except it's like on my own teams that I root for, because it's
Yeah,
like especially like not Final Fantasy, fantasy football. It's like I want my team to win, but
exactly.
I don't want that guy to catch the ball. It has to be another guy because he's in the other team, so it makes it so
I know.
complicated.
I know.
Um,
I mean, it's just unavoidable, bro. Especially with like what Polymarket and Kalshi are doing now. That's like
that
you're gonna
shit's
have like
crazy.
live game
Yeah.
odds updating as it goes. Like it's gonna be nuts.
What do you think about the polymarketification of everything? Like everything now, man, like has become just bet on, and you know.
So I have two very different takes. Take number one is as someone who is in this realm where, like, we're speculators,
Yeah.
sports betting, trading crypto, stocks, like that's what we do for a living. Like, as much
Yeah.
as we have a social media career, like,
Yeah.
I built that, as did you, on being a speculator. So I love it. I also love to gamble.
Hell yeah.
So I love it. I love the idea that's like, yes, I can speculate on what words Trump is going to say in what
Mhm.
order. Like that's cool to me.
Yeah.
But so that's like the cool, fun take. I think the really kind of sad dystopian take is that I think things are so bad for some people, the average person, that they view gambling as their way out. And I forget the number, but there was this stat that I learned, back in school when I was in like statistics, where they're like some insane percentage of Americans, like I want to say it was like over 30 or 40%, had winning the lottery as one of their retirement plans.
Jesus.
Like winning the lottery, which is like you're more likely to get struck by lightning twice than win the Powerball,
Wow.
right? But
Mhm.
like that is a legitimate, and I think that this is kind of the newest iteration of that, where it's like people are like, hey, I don't make enough money, but maybe I'm gonna hit it big on a meme coin or on a poly market bet or on a sports parlay,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be the leg up I need, which I think is quite sad. So part of it is cool because I like it. Part of it is also a little bit like, oh man, people are probably hurting out there a little more than the economy and the media lets on.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to do when it can be money you can afford to lose, but if it's like your lifeline, I mean, that, sweating that shit's is not fun,
No.
any bet, anything like that. What do you think about so I mean, about more markets right now? Like, what do you think's going on? What do you think about, all the corporate treasuries, Bitcoin? Where do you think we are generally? Because I wanna look at charts later, though, but, like, what are you thinking about where we are?
So I'm like a pretty staunch 4-year cycle guy because
Mhm.
it's worked every time, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, is this time gonna be different? And even if that was the top and I was just early, I thought maybe we have one more leg going into the end of the year.
Yeah.
It's still a Q4 top.
Yeah.
And I thought we would have a little bit more oomph from this DAT Ponzi because every cycle we have something, right? I mean, going
Yep.
all the way back to 2013, 14, we had like, you know, it was like an exchange listing spree. Like you knew the coin that was going to get listed on MintPal. It was a pump and dump, whatever. That went on for however long it went on. Then 2016, 17 was like the ICO, boom, bust. 2020, 2021, we had DeFi, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
NFTs, Luna's anchors, bored apes and stuff, like people paying
Yeah.
millions of dollars for a picture of a monkey. And it got absurd, right?
Yeah.
Like it got absurd to the point where celebrities are buying NFTs, financial advisors are telling you to put your money in Anchor for free yield, and
Oh,
Elon is on SNL telling you to buy Dogecoin. And in hindsight, you're like, okay, well, Trump did launch a fucking meme coin. Like
yeah.
it's funnily enough that Aiden Ross clip where he's like, who's bigger than the president?
Yeah.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
But I definitely thought that the digital asset treasury thing was this cycle's Ponzi,
Yep.
right? I was like, this is the one.
Yeah.
This is the one. So I'm like, in my mind, it's so obvious. I'm like, okay, we've got Sailor. I think that's the one that survives. Like, I don't think Sailor sells. But then, okay, we've got ETH. Then maybe we'll get Sol. And then maybe
Yeah.
down the 15th iteration, some company is like, we're buying Fart Coin with our company's books. And I'm
Right.
like,
Right.
that's the top. Like, that's got to be the top, the Fart
Yeah.
Coin DAT. And unfortunately, Tom Lee, the man who can pump almost anything, met the immovable object
Right.
in Ethereum that he
Man.
could not pump. And it's
Yeah.
like it seems like we never made it out of the gate. Even like some
Mm.
of these are already unwinding. So I think that bit's been a bit disappointing.
The whole it also feels like volatility is being compressed too, right? Like just cycle by cycle, we still get new highs, but we were always kind of expecting more and we're not getting it. And don't you think we have to be more adaptive? We'll have new highs, but they won't be as spectacular. And, there'll be a cycle, but it'll be a little bit more compressed.
I mean, there's been diminishing returns in Bitcoin forever. It's
Yeah.
just how it is, right? As this market gets bigger, it takes more money to pump it, right? Like it's not going to go up 25,000% like it did from $1 to $20,000 or whatever, right? So I think that's natural. I do think it's lame that, like, for sure, back in the day, at least, maybe I'm looking into the past with rose-colored glasses, but like all-time high used to be like, we're all buying and you're going to get that candle that's like, let's go. Where every all-time high we've had this cycle has immediately been followed by a dump.
Yeah.
Every single one. And then we eventually have gone on to make new all-time highs, but it's like we go to the all-time high, sweep it, pull back 20, 30%. And it's like, maybe this is part of the institutionification
Right.
of crypto, right? Where
Yeah.
we've wanted these institutions to be in the game, these countries, these companies, these financial institutions. Well, now
Yeah.
they're here. And guess what? We're going to start trading more like equities,
Right.
where the volatility is much more muted. I still believe Bitcoin specifically over the high time frame probably trades up and to the right. I don't think
Mhm.
you can replicate Bitcoin with the story, the dead founder, the lost coins. Like, I think it's going to have its place forever. But it makes you wonder about all this other stuff down the risk curve. Like, are we even last cycle, the altcoin rallies had some length to them. You could, like, the rotation, maybe it wasn't, back in 2017, stuff could run for a year. Last cycle, maybe it was 6 months, but like at least it was 6 months. Now it's like 6 minutes. It feels like, where it's like, if you're not rotating to the new coin, like that coin's dead and gone forever. And so I think we're seeing a bifurcation from Bitcoin and kind of everything else.
Mhm.
Because really, if you look at any other chart, I mean, Bitcoin's down on the year, but
Yeah.
everything else is down way more on the year.
Mhm.
So that part of it's a bit sad, a bit disappointing. But
Mhm.
at the end of the day, it's what we asked for. So
Yeah. Be careful what you ask for, right? We want
yeah.
adoption and then we get it. Do you think maybe there's too many coins or what?
Yes, I think Pump Fund. I think going back to our comment on Polymarket, I think the combination of things like Pump Fund, because
Yep.
Pump Fund's not the only one, but they were
Yeah.
unless I'm mistaken, the biggest launch pad by far, has diametrically changed altcoins because there's just, the Trump tweets something weird, there's 50 coins in a minute, right? And it's
Mm.
also changed the behaviors of the traders of these coins, where we used to have these bag holders. They called themselves a community, right?
Yep.
Were the Thor chain fucking guys, whatever they were called, the
Mm.
Link Marines, right?
Yeah.
You had the
Yeah.
Cardano,
Yeah.
like they like the XRP guy, like it was in their bio.
Yep.
That doesn't seem to exist anymore because there's not even enough time for a community to exist.
Well,
Like some of the,
SPX, right? SPX
yeah,
6900.
that's probably one of the best ones, but the chart doesn't really reflect
No,
the
no.
the movement. And maybe there's still time, Murad, don't come to get me.
Yeah.
But um, I think if you look at something like even one of the best performing coins of the cycle, like a whiff, like
Hmm.
arguably like that was the meme coin for a while, but it was like
Yeah,
three
yeah.
months. And then
Mm,
it was like, okay, no one cares anymore. The hat's off. It's not going on the sphere. No one gives a shit. So I think Pump Fund,
yeah.
from just a pure numbers perspective, has changed things. There are too many coins. And when that rising tide comes, there's just not enough water to bring all these boats up with it. And then
Mm,
I think the behavior of altcoin traders has changed from holders that used to be hold all
yeah,
your coins. Don't worry, alt
yeah,
season's coming,
yeah.
to being like, bro, I mean, that people are on to the 10th iteration of this coin already. Like your coin is like, remember when Chill Guy was a thing for 4 days and
Yeah,
now it's zero. So yeah, I
yeah.
think there's too many coins. I think trader behaviors change. And to the poly market point, for retail, especially if like after the Trump coin rug, like where's the net new buyer for some of these altcoins? Like if I'm a
Right.
retail guy who's interested in crypto, crypto's blowing up because there's still lots of people who are outside of crypto who's like, what is Bitcoin? Like they still
Yeah.
don't know. But like they're gonna come in here, like, are they really gonna buy some pump fund, barely bonded bullshit? Are they gonna say, you know what, I can buy Bitcoin on Robinhood, on my phone with Coinbase or Kraken. I
Yeah.
can trade Bitcoin up or down on Polymarket. I can speculate on the price of Bitcoin on Kalshi. Like, why would they even come down the rabbit hole of altcoins anymore? Where it used to
Mm,
be like altcoins was where you would go for this extremely high beta
mm,
moonshot lottery ticket type of thing.
hmm.
And I just don't know if that retail class, first of all, they got murdered. I mean, I
Yep.
think there's like 0.1% of wallets on Pump Fund have made more than 10 grand.
Mm,
That means almost everyone that has ever used it lost money. And for a new entrant to crypto, not even the retail crypto people who were buying these Pump Fund coins, they're going to be like, why the hell would the president's rug and meme coins, why would I even touch
yeah.
those? I have all these other ways that I can get exposure and speculate that seem a little bit quote unquote safer.
Yeah, you don't even hear talk about like fundamentals of these things anymore. It's like pumpamentals. It's
Yeah.
momentum. It's nothing. It used to be like, previous cycles would be like quote unquote use case. I mean, stuff that I don't know about, but you hear talk about it. Now it's just, you know, whatever it takes just to get a quick pump and to move on. And it seems like now we're all, Bitcoin maximalists, right? Because everything else doesn't have staying power, you know. Let's pull up Bitcoin. Pull up your chart. I'd love to have you kind
Let's
of
do
flow
it.
on that. And yeah, take it to where you want. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the high time frame, Bitcoin dominance, just Bitcoin gold, whatever you think is of value.
So I'll be honest. I did not think this pullback would pull back as deep as it did. So I'll start kind of on the highest time frames and I'll break it down from there. So I mean, obviously we're trading below the yearly open, right? So Bitcoin's a red year. If you go back in the past, we kind of have this. Usually it's a 3 up, 1 down. I know this seems like a very rudimentary form of analysis, but this is generally kind of part of that 4-year type of cycle where we have these 3 years of green and then our bear market and then these 3 years of green and then a bear market and then
Yeah.
timing wise you're like, okay, 1 2, where's our 3rd year of green? There's still time, right? We're still only in November. I know it seems like crazy, but it's not completely out of the question that this yearly candle closes green. It's just how green is probably the question on everyone's mind. Looking at this on the highest time frame, to me, these levels. Oh, my dog's having a dream.
It's a big fair value gap, right? On the yearly, huh?
Yeah, I mean, and I drew this out last cycle, and I had a lot of people tell me, they're like, Maine, like, what the fuck are we looking at that yearly box, which literally goes from 3,000 to 20,000 for? And I was like, well, where
Mm,
did the next bear market bottom? It was right there.
yeah.
So if we do get some sort of prolonged bear market,
Hmm.
where the next year is bearish, I don't think 50K Bitcoin is that crazy. That's less than 70% off the old all-time high, like
Hmm.
60%. So that's not completely crazy, not out of the question. Now, I'm not sitting here saying we're going to 60K, but a lot of people thought we would never go back to 17K, when we hit 70. So you always got to have these be open to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Going down to the quarterly chart here, we are working within this kind of quarterly area of demand. We
Yeah.
have this very key kind of monthly low right here, in my opinion, right at 73K, that I don't think any of us want to see break, because I think if we get below here, I think the likelihood of here is much higher. So I would much rather the bottom form somewhere, within this kind of range, but anything's
Mm-hmm.
possible. The monthly structure is still arguably bullish. Like, as much as it looks horrible right now, this is still very much higher highs and higher lows on the monthly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the problem with this is, yeah, maybe we put in a higher low and we go higher high, and 2 months from now, we're all laughing. Bitcoin's at 150K. Problem is that drawdown from 120 to 80 can be 30, 40%. That sucks if you're holding spot. That can kill you if you're trading with leverage, especially if you're buying the dip the entire way down. So the problem that I'm seeing with a lot of people right now is, now that we've pulled back this far, they're saying, okay, well, we're still holding monthly structure. And while I
Right.
agree, that doesn't help if you're like, well, but yeah, we could be holding monthly structure for a 40% pullback, right?
Yeah.
So
What's the point?
if I bought here, are you just saying I'm going to eat shit all the way to here? And then be, oh, never mind, it's okay, I was right. And it's like, dude, I held more drawdown. Like the risk reward's not there.
That's the Eric Trump, right? Like buy here and then it comes back.
Yeah,
It's up like
like
it's.
if we do this, he's going to say, I told you Q4 was good. And it's like, bro,
Yeah.
like from where your tweet was to where we are now, we went up
Yeah.
10%,
Right.
but we just went down 40% before that. So
Yeah.
monthly structure is still bullish, but you got to take that with a grain of salt, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
technically, by the time monthly structure broke here, right, we were closer to the bottom than we were the
Right.
top.
Right.
So that's kind of the risk, right? So I use weekly structure for this. And so
Yeah.
where I
Me
get
too.
very upset with myself is I faded, basically, I tweeted out October of 2024. I said, now that we're in price discovery, because we were here,
Yeah.
I think we can go to 110 to maybe 150. And I said, the things you're going to want to do to take profit, because the chart is very hard when, it's all green. It's a lot harder to want to take profit when it looks like this. I said, is,
Yeah.
portfolio goals. How much money did I want to make? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Profit targets, because these are completely arbitrary. Nobody knows 100, 150K, but you never know. And then you're going to want to use something like the weekly market structure. And that's where I really fucked up, because we had a monthly SFP here. Whether or
Mm.
not you believe in
Yep.
price action, you believe in SFPs, a monthly or weekly swing failure pattern on Bitcoin has an unbelievably high hit rate. On the monthly, I want to say it's 100%. I have never
Yeah.
seen a monthly SFP not
Mm.
give a very large reaction.
Yeah.
And on the weekly, almost every major bottom and top that we have had over the last 5 years has come from a weekly SFP. These are all weekly SFPs at the bottom here.
Yeah.
At the bottom again, at the bottom again, at the bottom again, at the top, at the top.
Yeah.
The ones that fail are few and far between. There was one here that failed on the
Mm-hmm.
downside. There was one right here that failed on the upside. One here on the upside as well that failed. But like
Yeah.
more often than not, 8 out of 10 times, they work. So the fact that I faded this, very disappointing. But what really annoys me when I look back at my execution is fading the structure break, right? Like whether or not you use this as your weekly structure or
Mm-hmm.
this,
Yeah.
either way,
Yeah.
get the fuck out. Like that.
Yeah.
That's what I said in that thread,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't do it because I allowed myself to say, okay, well,
Yeah.
yeah, we've had this monthly, weekly sweep and a bearish retest here, but the yearly open, there's support here, and
Right.
I just did not listen to my own system. And one of the hardest things in trading is being robotic in moments that are highly emotional.
Mm.
And when price is dumping, right, and you're like, fuck, this is pulling back pretty hard. Oh, maybe this is a really good buy. You start feeling fear. You start feeling greed. Those are the times where it's so important that you say, I have a system that is
Yeah.
mechanical. And as much as I think that, and I still do, I still believe that we could end the year like this. I
Hmm.
also believe we could end the year like this,
I
right?
think it's more likely. I think it's more
I
likely.
think after the weekly break, I think this outcome is 60 to 70%
Yeah.
likely. I think if you
Yeah.
all-time highs, it would take a miracle, but it's not completely impossible.
Yeah.
Regardless,
Yeah.
I allowed this desire to get a better exit, basically saying, well, we're going to bounce. We can't, like, we're going to bounce. We're going to bounce
Yeah.
to make me eat at least a $10,000 candle unnecessarily, arguably $20,000, because I probably should have cut here.
Yeah.
All things considered, I probably should have cut at 105, because that was like, we shouldn't lose this level if we're bullish.
Mm-hmm.
But I deviated from my system, and it sucks, and it's going to cost me some UPNL, because I'm holding some spot Bitcoin here.
Mm-hmm.
And basically this entire way down, I've been saying, okay, but I think I can get a better exit than here. And it's like, well, fuck, this was my better exit. Now I'm playing part of the hope game, which is not a very good strategy to get out on some sort of bounce. I still think that is possible.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I got away from my system a little bit there, and it's very frustrating. So it is what it is, though, right? Like, I'm not going to beat myself up for it. The nice thing is I've been buying Bitcoin for years, but I bought Bitcoin down here. I
Mm-hmm.
bought Bitcoin here.
Yep.
I sold Bitcoin here, and I bought Bitcoin here, and I sold it here as well. So it's not like I've not made money, but I definitely boondoggled, bastardized this last couple of weeks of price action. But you're never going to execute perfectly, and it's been a very good learning experience for me, where it's like, dude, like, you got to trust the system, and I don't care how long you've been in the game for. It can be hard sometimes, right? Like, sometimes you get caught up in it, right?
There's so much. It's also the hindsight. Maybe too hard on yourself, because still holding the weekly 50 until like this week, and there's always like good reasons to stay with the trend, especially a high time frame trend. And you saw those last big consolidations that you have in your chart there, early 2025 and middle 2025. Those were great resets that allowed new legs higher. So I'm in the same. I could have played this cycle way better. I kind of really relate to a lot of what you said. Waiting for lower high now, right? Waiting for a lower high, and then start the falling channel.
Yeah, I think a move up to. I think the bulls have some pretty big tests. The yearly open is a big test. I think 100K, kind of that psychological level, is a big test. If we're
Yeah.
able to get above there,
Mhm.
I think you look to sell this kind of weekly supply, which is 105 to about 115. This. If we're going to put in a lower high, this is the most optimal place to put it in. So that's where I would be looking. The best case scenario for the bulls is a repeat of this, which is, we had the breakdown here, right? We broke down from the consolidation, and you say, okay, well, there is your point of breakdown. I'm going to sell the underside, and it just blows
Yeah.
through it. So, like, if you're a bull and this thing is going to go to new all-time highs, like, this is going to be the level that it has to blow through. And based on how far and aggressively it's sold off from here, I give that very low odds. I think this is much more likely. But and to your point, or to my point earlier about sticking to my system, I shorted this, and then I was wrong. And then guess what? Now I can be a bull again,
But you
right?
didn't hold the short, right? You didn't hold the short.
No,
You tried, it failed, you accepted that, right? And
and
you
you
move
can do
on.
the same thing here. Like, if you really think new all-time highs are a possibility, I think you still take this short no matter what, or take some profit, or hedge your bets, however you
Yep.
want to do that. And
Yeah.
then if we have a very clear break above here, then great. Maybe we are going to 150 and beyond, and we can kind of take it from there.
Can you just what's the logic behind like a single data point, like a yearly open? And because I don't use that system, but I'm curious others do. Like, why like a single data point, like a yearly open or a monthly open, versus like something
So
else?
the strategy in which I use these is twofold. Number one is they have a similar effect to psychological levels, right?
Okay.
So your 100K, your 75K, your big round numbers, right? 110. So that's an aspect of it, in my opinion. Is it's like a lot of people there's an element of TA that is a self-fulfilling prophecy. And if everyone's looking at the monthly open as a level of support, it's either going to be support, or it is going to get absolutely fucking annihilated. And that's for any level of support or trend line or whatever, or a Bollinger Band. Like, there's just certain things where it's like, enough people are buying. Like, it's when Tom Lee had his guy being like, hey, we should bounce here. It's like, well,
Oh
you bought $1
yeah,
billion
Mark Newton or
there.
something, right? Mark Newton,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
turns out if you draw a line and then you buy $1 billion at the line, it becomes a level.
Right.
So that's an aspect of it. The other aspect of it is the idea, right? And this is something I learned in FX is this is your candle, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a candle. So this would be a bullish candle because this would be your open, this would be your low,
Mm-hmm.
this would be your high, and this would be your close, right? So they call it the
Mm-hmm.
open, low, high, close.
Yeah.
Or a bearish candle is your open, high, low, close, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the inverse.
Bar chart.
Open, high, yeah, bar chart. And then if this were filled in, this would just be the candle body, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the idea here is not every time, but more often than not, a bullish candle will start and then it will trade it below its open. And then if you get back above its open, you now have the bias that, okay, I'm going to be bullish above the open
Yep.
and I'm going to, look to ride this candle's body. And that this is the inverse. So on the weekly candle, this is a great strategy. This is why I use Monday's range for. You have
Mm-hmm.
your open. And then if we put in our low on like a Tuesday or a
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday, and then we reclaim that Monday's low, which is usually around the weekly open, I'm like, okay, I think the rest of the week's going to be bullish. So it's a way to
Mm-hmm.
give you a bias, right? And this
Mm-hmm.
works on all time frames. You can do this with the daily candle, a weekly, a monthly, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea for me, right, is if we're here on Bitcoin, we have our open on the year, we have our low, right? I thought Bitcoin's candle was going to be green. So
Mm-hmm.
above the yearly open, I
I
want to
see.
be bullish, right?
I
And
see.
ideally, you want the low to be put in kind of the early part of the year.
Yeah.
So for us here, obviously, right, like it looked like, and it still could,
I
right,
see. I see.
play out that way where we have our open,
Mm-hmm.
our low. Maybe this is the high for the year, but then the candle is going to close still green, right? Or maybe, in a miracle situation, it closes up here. But I'm
Yeah.
still looking for that kind of open, high, low close. And I believed that 2025's yearly candle was going to be a green one.
Mm.
So that's how I use those levels.
Do you want to give us a little juice on Ethereum before we wrap? I know you got a stream coming up too soon, so I don't want to keep
Yeah,
too
yeah,
much of your
yeah.
time.
So all good, man. My pleasure. He's always fun. So, I mean, Ethereum, I think an abject disappointment
Yeah.
for everyone, right? Like, I think that's probably putting it very, very kindly.
Sorry.
Where like our all-time high, like, are you kidding me? Like, that's all you got
Yeah.
this
Oh, it's
cycle.
gross. Gross.
So I'm hoping that, and not for the sake of Tom Lee, just for the sake of fucking this poor chart, that this has one more move in it here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And similar to Bitcoin, I think there's a very good, chance that move is, simply up into here and then down, right? Like
Mm.
that seems like the likeliest scenario. Maybe there's a miracle and Tom Lee gets out of his bags above a new all-time high.
Hmm.
I was definitely in the camp that I thought ETH could go to, 5 to 6K this cycle. I wasn't expecting 10K, but I
Mm-hmm.
thought it would make a new all-time high. And it's kind of
Yeah.
reminding me of like,
Oh, don't mention Litecoin. Oof.
bro, trust me, I know. It's kind of reminding me of like this, like where the
Yeah.
2021 high on Litecoin was just like
Right.
barely high. And it's like,
Yeah.
if that was it for ETH, then who's to say that like, after this thing isn't going back? Like if you zoom out here,
Yeah.
like are we sure that we don't come back here?
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Like, does
Well,
this not just look like
mm,
a big fucking
yeah.
triangle
Yeah.
forming? And like, is there a world where ETH is even like, like that's maybe, I don't know. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, there's a world where this becomes a 3-digit shitcoin again. But in the
Oof.
immediate term, I do think we're similar to Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
Mayne drawing a new box, just slightly lower than his last one.
Yeah.
But there is a world here where we should be coming into some demand here on the monthly.
Yeah. 23,
And if
24. Yeah.
if we're due for some relief on Bitcoin, maybe we're also due for some relief on ETH. And,
Mm-hmm.
4,000 is a sticky level. Like
Yeah.
that's not gonna, that level probably rejects,
Look at that
other than
breakout.
here.
Look at that breakout we just had over 4K. That's why a lot of people thought 6,500 or 9,500, depending on logarithmic or linear target of that wedge, that break we just had. Yeah, look at that well-defined level. Like when you break
Yeah.
that and you don't hold above it, I mean, that's just not good. I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean, you could sell ETH at 4K and almost always make money if you,
yeah,
especially if you're like had a little bit of tolerance for drawdown.
yeah.
It almost always worked. So if we do that again,
Mm-hmm.
guess what I'm going to be doing at 4K?
4K.
Hopefully not getting sucked into the bull propaganda.
Can you do one more Solana
Yeah, of course.
for the culture? For the culture.
So Sol, I think is very interesting because similar to ETH, right? Like arguably very marginal higher high, but the difference is this had a run, right? Like
Yeah.
whereas ETH, what was the bottom on ETH? Like just under 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a 5x. Sol went from like 8 to 300,
Yeah.
right? So like we had a run here at least, and we had our Solana meme coin season. I mean, this did 10x what ETH did. I think what's most worrisome about Sol is actually this chart.
Mm.
Um, I think this chart looks a lot like this chart, right? Like I think if you look at ETH BTC
Yeah.
and you look at Sol,
Ooh.
I mean, I don't know. To me,
They all
this
look the
is
same. They're very similar. They really do.
like this to me is like here and you got to remember like Sol's entire bull run where everyone's sold to 1,000
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
pump fund, everything that happened with Sol, the president launching a meme coin on Sol,
Yeah.
this is it.
Yeah. We're head
Right
and
now, and I
shoulders
don't
kind of.
I mean,
Yeah.
how do you pull up the Sol market cap? Would it be like just
I don't
Sol?
know. Probably I would just
There
go
we
to
go.
whatever coin market. Okay, there you
So
go.
like you could argue, okay, like this is better, right,
Mm-hmm.
than the dollar chart, right?
Yeah.
But still, versus Bitcoin, and as you know, you've been here a while as well. All roads lead back to the OG.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even the best altcoins on the planet, seemingly, this is its entire bull market over the last 3 years. Relative to Bitcoin, it's a lower high, a paltry one at that. So
Yeah.
this is my concern for Sol more so is that I hope, for Sol guys, that this is not the future of Sol where it's just going to, be disappointing versus Bitcoin. Um, in terms of the chart itself, I think, a lot of this stuff, it's kind of getting to the oh shit level.
Yeah, it
Like,
is.
where is support if it's not right fucking here?
Yeah.
Um,
What
so I
did
think
Caroline
similar.
say? What did Caroline say? Was it
Yeah, we stay in our trades because we don't use stop
was
losses.
she
Like,
something? No, she's something like you can F off and sell me your soul at $3, or was that something else?
well,
Was
that
it?
was FTT. She's like, we'll
Oh,
buy all
sorry.
your
Oh, yeah, yeah,
FTT.
yeah. Okay.
But similar to ETH and Bitcoin, like I think lower high is a lot likelier than higher high at this point. So, if we get
Yeah.
back above the 200 area, I
Yeah.
think that's where you get defensive again. I don't think
Mm.
to not try and end this entire podcast on bear posting, bear porn. I
Mm-hmm.
think the risk reward on the short side here is done. I don't doesn't mean I think the
Yes,
low is in for sure.
I agree.
We could go down to 75,
Yeah.
but I think we're a lot closer to a local low,
Yeah.
and the RR is now skewed in favor of longs,
Mm-hmm.
but the trend is down. So on that bounce, I think that's you want to know where to get defensive, and
Yeah.
Bitcoin it's 105, maybe 110 if we're lucky. Maybe it's only 100 based on going all the way to 80. It's a big pump up to 100. Sol, I like around 200, 190 to 200.
Mm-hmm.
ETH, I like around God willing that 4K level again,
Yeah.
but it seems pretty far from here.
Man, it's like that meme where they're just praying to get back to their entry. That like cartoon
Yes.
meme. It's kind of I think a lot of people are in that spot, man.
I mean, Bitcoin back to 100 is a 20% jump. Back to
Jeez.
110 is 30%.
Wow.
Sol back to 200, 190, 200 is 50%. And
Mm-hmm.
ETH back to 4,000 is about 45, 50%. So mathematically, like it kind of adds up. If Bitcoin can do a 20 to 30% rally,
Mm-hmm.
these coins can as well. And, if you don't think that
Right.
that's possible and you think that they're in a bear,
Yeah.
that's a 50% rally right there on Bitcoin
Right.
in a bear market, as is
Oof.
this. I believe this is 30+%.
Yep.
So even if it is over and we're toast,
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to go down in a straight line. There will be
Yes.
these bounces, and you just gotta, you gotta short them. So we'll see.
Yes.
Things look pretty grim. I'm not completely throwing out the impossibility or the possibility of no new all-time highs again. I think
Yeah.
it's just massively reduced that probabilistically,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll wait and see, man. But we're not going anywhere. One of the
Good.
advantages of being in spot,
Mm-hmm.
is you kind of weather the storm. I think one thing I try and remind people is like, this could have been the top. This could have been the top. This very well might be the top.
Mm-hmm.
If you refuse to take profit during this, during this,
Right.
during this, you cannot bitch and complain during this and
Yeah.
this and this, because in order to have that next leg up, like you mentioned, we need the resets. So
Yes.
you have two options. You either hold because you don't think the top is in and realize that from the peak of that price leg, 30-40% is completely possible to the
Yep.
downside before the next rip, or you take profit and then you're trying to rebuy on the dip. But you can't have it both ways. You can't, enjoy the moves up only
Mm-hmm.
and then fucking think the world is on fire and then puke it here. If you don't believe the top's in, this is not where you sell, right? And if you
Mm-hmm.
believe the top is in, fucking sell. I'm not holding you hostage here. I think
Yeah.
it's a problem people have on Twitter very much as well. It's like, well, you said this. It's like,
Right.
dude, I'm trading my fucking money. I don't remember logging into your account. So
Yeah.
uh, it's again, I think we summarized it good there. I don't think this is the best place to sell,
Yeah.
but I do think structurally we got to deal with the reality that like things look pretty grim.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what you're doing, right, you have no interest in trading this, I think this is
Mm-hmm.
a pretty low odds place to be in Bitcoin. As much as I think we're close to a low,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a good chance sometime in the next 12, 18 months, you can probably buy cheaper,
Yeah.
right? And so maybe it's just stay on your hands, or maybe just buy Bitcoin no matter what.
Just buy
And
$10 a week, right? Or whatever.
yes,
And, comfy
stop
in
looking at
spot.
the chart, look at it
Yes.
on the monthly and say, damn, okay, I'm still up fucking 5x from what I bought a year and a half ago. I'm just
Right.
going to keep adding, and you'll probably outperform all of us and be a lot happier while you do it.
There you go. Trader Mayne, you're a busy man. I'm glad you shared some of your experience with us. You've been in these markets a long time, so
Of course, bro. Sorry it took so long. Next time it won't be 3 years in between, I promise.
no, don't worry about it, man. That's all. So you still people can find you on Twitter, you got YouTube, you still have Discord, or what do you have?
Yeah, so if you go to my YouTube, I have a link tree now that's got my Discord, free Telegram,
Okay.
obviously my Twitter. I'm on YouTube. I post on TikTok. Mostly
Really?
TikTok is just clips of my streams, but like little
Okay.
tidbits my editor puts together.
Hmm.
You can follow me on Instagram if you just want to look at my fucking neck.
And your
Just
dog? How's your new
and my
dog? I know
dog,
you have a new dog, right? Because
dude, he's almost 3 now. It's
oh damn.
crazy. He'll be
Okay.
3 in February. But he's good. He's having a little nap
Yep.
right next to me here. But life's good. I can't complain,
You
man.
take him
Things
in the
are good.
woods soon and just walk him
Yeah,
out there and have a good time.
exactly. And yeah, check out Breakout. Like if you're curious,
Okay.
if you want to trade, you don't want to have the risk of getting liquidated.
Hmm.
And you're like, hey, I want to learn how to leverage trade because that's what it is, but I'm not quite ready to punt my paycheck, or I don't want to lose $1,000 doing it.
Yeah.
We got accounts as cheap as like $50, and you can kind of get your feet wet, learn how these things work,
Okay.
before you're ready to scale up.
That's awesome. Well, I'll have all those links in the information. And if people have more questions, I'm sure they know where to find you. You're not hiding. You're around
I'm
here. So,
around.
all right. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. You're
Thanks,
the man,
bro.
brother, and hopefully we'll have you back soon.
For sure.
All right. All right. So, what do you guys think? I thought that was great. I really enjoy getting smart, experienced, veteran people from this industry and just talking to them, fleshing it out. In this long form, format where we can take a little time, we can explore some topics. I think it's of great value. Mayne is actually the first return guest, if you will, for the long form interview series. You can find him on Twitter at Trader Mayne. He's on YouTube, Trader Mayne. He's everywhere. Here's all his links. He's on Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, Breakout Prop, part of the Haven, with just another great crew, a lot of really good analysts here as well. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'm, of course, on Twitter at Big Cheds, founding analyst at Bitcoin Live, proud founding analyst, and if I could quickly plug the Trading Encyclopedia, 3-minute videos teaching you, professional TA concepts. This is on my YouTube. This is one of my contributions to the space, so go ahead and check that out. But today was all about Mayne. We're very thankful, very honored that he joined us. Why don't you folks let me know what you thought, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, perhaps who you'd like to see next as the next guest. I have a few that I'm talking to, of course, but I'm going to get to editing, clipping this, and getting this ready to be uploaded for you folks. But I do want to say thank you so much for joining us here, and we'll finish off again with a little bit of Church of Eight Wheels, and we'll go from there. So, folks, thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon.